Who are these people?
Welcome to another episode of Angel in the Afternoon. I am late, as usual, but, we can deal with it. I'm Angel Rivera alongside my excellent panel this week of Alex Knight and Witchy Perfect.
See, they're already calling my name. We just went live, and they're already talking about me. Here I am, back by popular demand. But I have a little bit of an update. Next week, I will not be on. Sorry, guys. But I have a wedding to go to on next Friday. So, wedding, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is my chat glitched? I don't see anything.
Oh, I see a Max.
I see the chat.
Max RJ. See, he's
Yeah,
already calling my name.
Yeah, my chat's glitched. Hold on, I don't see anything. I don't see anything. Oh well, I'm gonna have to. You know what? I'm gonna try reloading back in. So just stall for me for a second. See whether the chat works.
Okay. Well, Alex, little brother, how was your day, week?
I mean, how about yours?
Yeah, so a lot was going on with me. I've been very busy at work. My son has had a couple of things.
Hold on 1 second. Can you see it now, Angel?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
Max is still here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my chat was glitched. So today we're going to be talking about Joe Biden's doctor pleading the fifth during the congressional hearing. We're going to talk about Trump's anti-war grift or myth. We're going to continue with that as well because there's more.
The Epstein files thing.
Oh, please tell me we're talking about that. I have a lot to say.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to touch on that, but we could. I mean,
why wouldn't you? I mean, that's been like the big news for the week.
Yeah, so. But I wasn't going to really touch on that. But yeah, I mean, we could discuss it real quick. I mean, because I don't know. I mean, I've not seen, and I must have, this story must have flown over my head. I haven't seen much about it, but Trump is allegedly, on the Epstein files. I don't understand what's going on with that.
I mean, I can do that.
I mean, of course he's only, that's obvious.
I mean, they said they were going to literally expose the files. And, of course, you had the little face turn with Elon Musk. He was like, oh, well, Trump is on the files. And then this big thing comes out where they're like, by the way, there is no Epstein files. We don't, new phone, who this? They act like they don't.
Oh, yeah,
they act like they literally tried to do a Jedi mind trick.
And Trump was in that they had that cabinet meeting, and the reporter asked him, "It's like, are we still talking about the Epstein files? Really? We're still
we're still talking about the Epstein files, Trump."
He got really defensive, which is interesting.
Yes, very defensive. And like I said, again, guys, they tried to do a Jedi mind trick, and Snow and myself, and I know Angel, and I think little brother also. When Trump was running again, we said this during the campaign that Trump literally was not going to. I mean, Whitney Webb said this too. He is not going to distribute those files. They're not going to let loose those files because they're all wanted.
Have you not learned anything from his first term?
Yeah, you didn't lose. You didn't. You literally are. And now they're trying to do this Jedi mind trick, and everyone at Fox News. They're talking about fucking Biden. Still talking about fucking Biden.
Yeah. Biden isn't president anymore. Move on from him.
Right. Alex Jones is trying to do a Jedi mind trick. Well, the Democrats are actually the pedophiles. Yeah. Alex Jones is like, well, the Democrats are doing this, and they're actually the pedophiles. No, everyone's a pedophile, including Jones. Alex Jones is a pedophile because he knew who Jeffrey Epstein was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was also I forget the word I'm trying to think right now, but there was people were talking about footage of the Epstein rumor or something. They cut
Yes,
it.
the security cameras, they
It's
took
going viral.
minutes out of it. They literally took several minutes out of it, like at least 10 minutes out of it, where it was like a door. People were coming in and out of the door, but you could plainly see that they took minutes out of it. So again, they're trying this stupid Jedi mind trick that isn't fucking working, except for with the stupid MAGA people who they would believe anything Trump tells them. You know that meme that just went around about Trump being Superman?
Yeah, I was just gonna say we should discuss about that.
We will. We will. But first, I wanted to before we get to that, there was somebody on the INN chat, Lynn Daly. I wanted to. I can't put it up here, as I don't see it on over here. But she said Trump pled the fifth over 400 times. I'm like, yes, I know. Doesn't mean this is not relevant, you know.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's
this is well, first of all, Biden is a pedophile. We all knew that because his own son calls him pedo Pete. And two, I swear to God, I'm gonna slap this guy silly if he says it's doctor-patient confidentiality. Fuck you. He was the president of the United States. He was in mental decline. We fucking saw it. Don't act like a Jedi and try to do a Jedi mind trick like the fucking Republicans are trying to do.
The reason why I'm covering it because he did not claim doctor-patient confidentiality. He pled the fifth.
He just pled the fifth. All right.
Which is interesting to me.
And that's what I'm saying. If he says, well, it's doctor-patient care, I'm going to slap the shit out of this guy.
I mean, because we've been talking about Biden's dementia since 2019. I mean,
and we all know it's there. So, I mean, this guy is literally just pleading the fifth to what? It's not. You can't incriminate yourself. How are you going to incriminate?
It finally took till when Biden had that disastrous debate against Trump, when everyone was like, okay, he has dementia. All right.
Right. So we already know this. So why is he pleading the fifth? This is not up for debate. Biden's gone.
Yeah.
So Kevin O'Connor, who served as Biden's physician while the former president was in office, refused to testify and closed their interview as part of the GOP probe into Biden's mental acuity and whether his inner circle sought to conceal limitation from the public, which is obvious they did. It's been reported on. O'Connor Wednesday morning asserted doctor-patient privilege in his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. So he did both. He did both.
I'm gonna fuck this motherfucker up. Really?
He asserted doctor-patient privilege and his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. So he did both. I thought he did this.
Jesus fucking Christ! I literally want to slap the shit out of this guy again. What trial are we on here? There's no trial. Biden's gone. Just tell us what we already know and get it the fuck over with.
Biden keeps, declining it. He keeps saying, "Oh, I would have beaten Trump." Well, then why did you drop out?
Right.
If you keep saying you would have beaten Trump, why did you drop out then? Huh?
Right.
Like that.
Absolutely correct. I can't agree more because then they would have gotten Harris in there, maybe poop butt plug in there. Who knows? If it had been different, but they wanted to hang on to this notion that somehow Joe Biden didn't have dementia. Newsflash, he did. He couldn't even remember the kids he had diddled the night before.
And you look at his debate, he was all like,
whatever medicine they were giving him, it wasn't working. They should have given him a speedball enema.
Job. You answer all the questions.
He repeatedly argued his duties as a doctor complicated his ability to testify under oath about his patient, preventing him from sharing sensitive information. On the advice of legal counsel, Dr. O'Connor refused to answer questions that involved his well-established legal privilege that protect confidential matters between physicians and their patients. His assertion of this right under the Fifth Amendment to decline to answer on the advice of his lawyers was made necessary by the unique circumstances of this deposition. The statement also cited President Donald Trump's own invocation of the Fifth Amendment right before his deposition with New York State Attorney General Letitia James, quoting Trump's suggestion that only an absolute fool will refuse to take the fifth. So
why is he bring up Trump?
Yeah, just a lot of. I had somebody in the chat bring up Trump. I mean, I didn't see it because my chat was glitched. I had to go to the INN YouTube channel, but again, Trump's pleading the fifth 440 times, whatever he said. She said it doesn't matter because this is still an issue. He's refusing to testify, and you plead the fifth because you're afraid of future charges. That's what he's afraid of. That's why he doesn't want to, because he won't get Congress can't charge him in anything. It's just an investigation. But the DOJ come back later and charge him, especially if he admits to something.
That a doctor who, who gave that medicine or prescription to Michael Jackson or whatever, and he pled the fifth.
Yeah.
Like no, this is just normal. He did. It was his fault. He died.
Right, and they still put that dude in jail, didn't they?
Yeah.
He was a high-profile doctor too.
Yeah, he served, I think, 10 years in prison. He was released by now. He's released by now, but he spent a long time in prison.
If we killed Michael Jackson, it should have been longer, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm surprised he served the 10 years, honestly.
Is not my lover. Okay.
O'Connor's decision to not participate in the committee probe sparked a rebuke from the oversight chair, James Comer, Republican of Kentucky, who told reporters that the physician's choice to invoke the Fifth Amendment adds more fuel to the fire that there was a cover-up of Biden's mental fitness and vowed to continue the investigation. The doctor, any American, has every right to plead the fifth against self-incrimination. I want to make that clear. But we can all speculate here and say, yeah, it does add more fuel to the fire. There was some kind of cover-up.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely, even though he has every right to do that as an American citizen. And by the way, if you're ever suspected of a crime by the police, don't talk to them. Plead the fifth. You have every right to do that.
Oh, but no offense. They will put a poor person in jail even for pleading the fifth before they would ever put a rich person in jail. Just saying. Just saying. Cops are not on your side, y'all.
That's why you don't talk to them, because it's easy. They don't. But most cops, not all cops, most cops don't care about actually solving the crime and actually putting the right person in jail. They put the first person in jail they can find. Mm-hmm. And when they do, when a cop says, "Oh, get a confession out of him," that basically means, do whatever it takes to get a confession out of him. It doesn't matter he did it or not.
Even enhanced interrogation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is why you don't put yourself in the room. Don't put yourself in an interrogation room unless you're under arrest. Then you can't leave. But if you're not under arrest, don't put yourself there.
Right.
Because there's no windows. There's the cops sitting right on top of you, so they're trying to intimidate you. Don't put yourself in that situation. Say, no, I'm gonna, I'm gonna get counsel or a lawyer. So.
Yep. Even if you have a solid alibi, they still will try to say that you were somewhere you weren't.
I've seen it happen. I like true crime, and I've seen a guy had a solid alibi, still go to prison for murdering his wife, even though he was not anywhere near in the vicinity because of a confession. The lawyer tried to get the confession suppressed because of the obvious evidence that he wasn't there, but the judge said no, it was done legally, so the confession comes in, and he was convicted, even though he was not there. The jury still convicted. I'm like, but he wasn't there. You have evidence that he wasn't there. How are you convicting him of this crime? He spent 10 or 15 years in prison before an appeals court finally, released him.
Wow.
Or actually, no, he ordered a new trial. That's what happened.
It's just when James Comey was like, we have thousands and thousands of evidence of, Hillary Clinton corruption or whatever, but, we're still going to let her go,
Yeah, but I digress on that because that's true crime, and, that's not what this show's about, but I can talk your head about true crime all day long.
Well, no, I read, or I'm reading Lisa Pease, I think that's how you say her name. I'm reading her book about RFK, and in there, when they actually interrogated the witnesses and made them change their stories. And soon, the question was, what happened to the girl with the polka dotted dress? Throughout the book, that was always asked. Where's the girl in the polka dotted dress? And they literally, the FBI and the LAPD literally talked these people down and said there was no woman in the polka dotted dress. But these people had seen her run out of that room before, Sirhan had even come in. So, again, they talked them down, and eventually they all changed their stories to, oh, it was Sirhan the whole time.
Yeah, it reminds me of the JFK assassination with the homeless
Yep.
guys and the
Yep.
babushka lady too. You know, the lady with the babushka on who took photos of JFK. She was like right in
Right.
front, right on top of it, and then nobody knows who she is to this day. Nobody knows who she is. She's probably dead by now. She's older even then, but we never figured out who she was. Unfortunately, I'm pretty
And
sure
people stopped talking about the grassy knoll.
the
The
grassy
fact
knoll.
that
Yeah.
his head went this way, but then it also went this way. If you get shot
Hmm.
from the back, there's only one way your head's going to
Yeah.
move, and it's this way.
Forward.
It's
Yeah.
not going to be this way.
Forward. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
cut the shit with the, you
Hmm.
know, well, I was listening to an audiobook with Jesse Ventura, and he talks about JFK. He said those two homeless guys were actually CIA agents. They were
One
not
of them.
homeless at all.
One of them was the Watergate guy. What's his name? The one who the CIA agent got arrested in Watergate. Why am I
Oh,
forgetting his name?
God. Now you're going to make me try to remember this. I can't.
J
Uh,
no, I'm sorry, I gotta look this up, guys. After
yeah,
this,
yeah.
we'll move on. But CIA agent.
But the moral of the story is this is all corruption. It's all a
Wait,
bunch of
you were
bullshit.
about to say James Clapper, Angel?
Yeah, E. Howard Hunt. That's who it is. One of them was E. Howard Hunt. It looks just like him.
Yeah, yeah.
I think Jesse
Mhm.
even said it was him. Like one of them
Jesse
looked
said
like,
it was him. Yep.
Yeah.
If you ever read his book, They Killed Our President. If you read it, I read I heard the audio book. Okay, I have Audible. I admit it. I have audible.com. And one of the books they have on there is Jesse's They Killed Our President. I'm actually listening right now to the one he did with his wife real fast.
Mhm.
It's called Don't Start the Revolution Without Me. And a lot in there, wow. I can't believe you could see the love between him and his wife.
But
So,
unfortunately,
anyway,
Jesse Ventura won't say that stuff anymore.
no, he won't because he's been corrupted by the same people who corrupted everybody.
We can speculate that he was probably threatened, or with his
Teresa
wife.
was probably,
Yeah.
and I know how much Jesse loves her. In this book that he has, Don't Start the Revolution Without Me, they really, you can tell the love that they have between each other. So if they threaten Terry, oh yeah,
Right.
it would be the
So-
same way if they threatened me and my son or my man. I would be sorry.
Yeah.
I'd have to sell you guys out, but that's not going to come to that.
It's understandable. I mean, family is family. So O'Connor spent an hour, but he pled the fifth every question. So the interview lasted less than an hour. Blah blah blah. They also emphasized that pleading the fifth does not imply an underlying crime was committed. Blah blah blah. Yeah, we know that. But here, O'Connor's strategy closely tracked with decisions by more than 30 witnesses who testified before the Democrat-led committee to investigate the circumstances leading up to the surrounding riots, January 6, 2021. So now that they're pointing out, liberals are pointing, hey, the Republicans did the same thing during January 6th, and we tried to investigate them. So
No,
so it's okay for O'Connor to do it too.
January 6th was a nothing burger.
It was just a total psyop to get poor people in jail.
I mean, when we saw it live, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But now it's just like, who cares really anymore?
Who is Epps? Who is Ray Epps? Just like the girl with the polka dotted dress. Who is Ray Epps? And no one can answer that fucking question. God. CIA. He was a CIA. Or FBI.
I'm just looking through, and E. Howard Hunt wrote a book.
He did?
American Spy, My Secret History and CIA, Watergate, and Beyond.
There you go.
So, real quick, I'm sorry, but this is fascinating.
No,
his involvement in the CIA coup in Guatemala in 1954, the Bay of Pigs invasion, and more. His work with CIA officials such as Allen Dulles and Richard Helms. His friendship with William F. Buckley Jr., who Hunt brought to the CIA. The amazing steps the CIA took to manipulate the media in America and abroad. Which is true, by the way. He's admitting to this in his book. The motives behind the break-in at Daniel Ellsberg psychiatrist office.
Yep.
By the way, Daniel Ellsberg, I think, was the one who broke Watergate? I'm forgetting what he did exactly, but
I think so. But if you also, for a good read, guys, or you can get this both on Audible, excuse me. You can get volume 1 and 2 of One Nation Under Blackmail, Whitney Webb. And everybody, I'm telling you, all those names are familiar to me because they were all in volume 1 or volume 2 of literally One Nation Under Blackmail, Jeffrey Epstein, how Jeffrey Epstein came to everybody. I'm telling you, everybody knew who Jeffrey Epstein was.
Yeah.
Dating back all the way to the 70s and 80s. I'm telling you guys, everybody's fucking connected. I've listened to both books.
I guarantee you, Jeffrey Epstein was Mossad. He's an Israeli spy.
Right.
Well,
And he was also a pedophile,
just
and
don't
everybody
mention-
associated with him. Sorry, little brother. Everyone associated with him. And I'm talking everybody. I'm talking
done with
every
that.
politician, every Hollywood person is literally a pedophile.
I was just gonna say, don't mention Whitney Webb to Ian Carroll.
Ah, fuck him. He can go suck a dick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, and E. Howard Hunt, why the minute by minute account of the Watergate break-in. So he just admits to everything here in this book, and just I didn't even know he wrote a book. So this, of course, it's his version of all this stuff. It's not, most of this may not be the truth, but
So
I don't trust CIA agents.
Think of Chaz Chisholm going to be in the home run derby.
I'm not in love with it because home run. But to be fair, these days, back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, I would say, oh no, don't do that because it fucks up your swing.
Yeah.
Because you have to swing in an uppercut.
Yeah, I would prefer he didn't do it, but I will say he doesn't really hit for average. He's been hitting home runs lately. I will say that.
Yeah,
and I will say sometimes the opposite happens because I remember Gary Sanchez in the 2017 home run derby. He had 13 home runs before the home run derby, and then after his home run derby appearance, he hit 20 more. The rest of the season.
Yeah, because today I don't think that applies much because most guys swing with an anyways. So they're trying to hit home runs because of the analytics.
The fact that people still say that Aaron Judge is a chicken for not participating in home run derby, like how do they still not know why he doesn't do that anymore?
he won one. He won a home run derby in his rookie year. How many? He's gonna win every year. He'll win every year because he participates. He had a shoulder injury too. I remember, right?
He doesn't have any more to prove. Like
no,
why?
As like if Jazz Chisholm, okay, participate by all means, go ahead. Aaron Judge, oh no, oh my God, I'd be like, oh, you already won one. You don't need to prove yourself there. All right,
dominated that home run derby. I mean,
oh yeah, but he would win every year. I mean, Whitney Webb knows the flight log. I'm sure she does. I mean, I would love to get her on the show, one day. Because I follow her, but
she goes on really small channels though.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying, but I would love to have the opportunity to talk to her one day.
I'm sorry, I needed Wawa, y'all. I'm dying here. Okay, so yes, Whitney Webb knew the flight logs, of course. In fact, she was one of the very first ones that reported on them. And that's how we knew Trump. That's how we knew RFK Jr. was on them. So RFK Jr. is a pedophile. We knew Noam Chomsky had relations with Jeffrey Epstein.
I still can't believe he admitted in that Fox News interview. He was like, "Yeah, I was on the flight." I was like,
and they tried to talk him out of it.
Like, why the fuck would you say that? What's wrong with you?
I was a brainworm.
I was on the Lolita Express, and I can't do his voice, but I can't do his impression. But
I
was on the Lolita Express. Yeah. Ooh, that hurts.
So
Russell Doppler, he does great impressions.
Right?
Yeah. So we got more corruption with Donald Trump, and now FIFA.
Of course.
FIFA has opened a new office inside Trump Tower in New York.
FIFA, wait, a soccer program?
Yeah, they opened an office in Trump Tower. FIFA. Go ahead. FIFA President Gianni Infantino led the ceremony alongside Eric Trump and the nominal head of the Trump Organization and Brazilian soccer legend Ronaldo. So, yep.
It reminds me, the White House is going to host a UFC event. What is it, next year or?
The White House. I think this broke last week, and I didn't cover it at the time, but. Yeah, the White House is going to hold a UFC fight, in the front lawn. So.
Oh, hi CBC. I didn't see you there. I'm sorry. I need water, y'all. All right.
Uh,
So yeah, that's why I was seeing memes with the White House in the background and then a UFC ring in the
Yeah,
foreground. I'm like, what the
because
hell is
the White
this?
House, Trump. It wasn't really the White House. It was Trump on his social media announced, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have a UFC fight at Trump Tower next year, or not
Of
Trump Tower, the White
course.
House next year." And,
And what was that? I was watching Snow, Himbo, and Greg, Mad Crab. I
mhm.
was watching them on Wednesday, and I was saying, even Snow brought this up. Snow was like, Witchy, they talk about like this is wrestling, and this was all a storyline and everything with their guest. They had a special guest on. Forgive me, I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. But they were talking about that, and I was like in the chat room going, "Yeah, duh, it's all wrestling, you guys." I
Yeah.
mean, there's a reason why Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame. And, they were talking about the ear, his ear was never shot. He bladed, because there's no, I mean, if he got his ear shot off, trust me, the whole ear, at least half the ear would be off.
Don't
No, that
forget,
dude
he was
totally
part of
bladed.
the WrestleMania 23 match. Hair versus hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trump always
President.
wanted to be a WWE superstar. And there's a reason why he's in the Hall of Fame. That's because he's always wanted to be one.
Now, before we move on, I just want to mention, speaking of crap, I don't know if any of you saw the post I shared in some of the groups. He mentioned, I don't want to say what actually happened because it's really inappropriate, that Ethan Klein, he did something a long time ago, which was really, really disgusting. I don't know if you saw that post that I shared, Angel.
I might have missed it, but
Yeah,
I missed it.
it
But
was from a post that Bad Empanadas shared.
oh, okay.
If you go to
I
the,
could probably find it, but
yeah, it's just really,
Okay,
really
well,
disgusting. If you want to go check it out for yourself, go ahead.
Ethan-
But it's a fair warning. Only look if you have a very strong stomach. So
Ethan Klein is just one of these early YouTubers who got famous for react videos, and he does a podcast with his fucking wife. That's all I know, and that's all I care to know about him.
his wife's
And that too, they're Zionists, so that's why I don't really care about either of them.
Well, I just saw the stupid Adam Sandler bullshit.
Yeah,
you know what, Adam Sandler, go suck a dick.
You responded to.
Yeah.
So this is from the Libertarian Institute, the unpopular truth about foreign aid. I don't know why Cenk Uygur is here, but I'm not going to play any video with him. But and this is way too small. I forgot my glasses too.
She's the libertarian redhead, right? That Twitter.
Josie, I think so. Yeah, she's that libertarian. But libertarians are right.
And no, I don't know who Keith Knight is. He's not related to me, so in case you all are wondering.
So this article is taken from a Libertarian Institute managing editor Keith Knight's opening statement from a June 28th debate on Zero Hedge with Mike Benz and Cenk Uygur. Okay, so that's this Smiley guy here opening statement. But libertarians are right about foreign policy, especially. Go ahead.
I was saying he's like DDP.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I hated that dude.
Hey, Earl. CBC is here, too. Whitney Webb has the flight log. Ask her where the flight logs are. I'm sorry? Whitney Webb has the flight log. Ask her where the flight logs. Nice.
Where is the flight?
They're on Pam Bondi's desk.
Yeah, that's where they're at, yeah.
I read a funny tweet or a day or two ago saying that Pam Bondi has GTA 6 on her desk or disk files GTA 600.
It's not out. Hopefully,
I like this one. The Epstein client list is on my desk, and then it says what desk?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
She doesn't have a desk.
So this is. I have a problem.
I'm just like Superman. Superman doesn't protect pedophiles.
Yeah.
It's Batman's
the fat Superman with that Zionist Israel flag. That I'm sure you've seen that one.
Yes.
So, I personally have a problem with foreign aid in general because, like, okay, so I'm going to read this. When I say American foreign aid, blah, 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 I want to make the case that all foreign aid should be abolished. According to foreignassistance.gov, as of June 13, 2025, the U.S. government is over $100 billion in foreign aid obligations. Like, could we take that money and spend it here? And you could fix everything. You can fix our schooling. You can fix our roads. You can fix our healthcare infrastructure. All of that be taken care of with that $100 billion. But instead, we have to give it to all these other countries in the world, and most of the countries don't even need the money. Like we're just bribing them. Uh, Consisting of more than 20,000 activities taking place in 205 countries, primarily Ukraine, Israel, Egypt, and Jordan. Egypt is
And Saudi Arabia.
Jimmy Carter literally paid Egypt in order to end their war with Israel, and we're still paying them to this day, basically, to not go to war with Israel. That's why we give them so much money. According to Pew Research, the American government spent 1.07 trillion on foreign assistance between 2005 and 2024. $1.7 trillion or 1.07
But
trillion
October
dollars.
7th, that's
Mhm.
that's the biggest one. Nothing else happened.
Foreign aid allows the U.S. government to unilaterally put obligations on the domestic population, us, and use those funds to increase their power and social standing in other parts of the world. That's true. The essential issue with the government provision of foreign aid is the creation of the service payment split. The people who provide the service don't have to answer questions to those don't have to answer to those paying for it. I can't read right now. In the
It's
case
okay.
of foreign aid, there's a split between those who pay the taxpayers and those who provide the service, politicians and NGOs, and those who receive the service. In short, those who have the power to control foreign aid funds do not face a discipline necessary to provide high quality services at a reasonable cost, since the people paying for it do not have a recognized right to stop paying if they don't find value in the project. This is like libertarian stuff here, but I'll move on from that. This would be the equivalent of saying Blockbuster, MySpace, Sears, Toys R Us, and Borders could have resolved their business issues if only they had access to the funds of involuntary investors known as the taxpayers. Instead, companies getting money. There was something here I wanted to read. I mean, I really don't have any interest in this libertarian stuff.
Yeah.
There was a title. There's something here I saw, and then now I can't see it unless it's a totally different article that I got it from. But instead of companies getting money, blah blah blah, this more libertarian stuff. According to Center for Global Development, total aid given to Africa from wealthy countries since 1960 comes to $4.7 trillion in 2013 prices. So, problem is in Africa, it's nothing but corruption. Corrupt politicians and corrupt rich people take all the money, put it in their pocket instead of helping the populace and building up infrastructure and putting in proper emergency services, basically. So, yeah, and we all know that most of these African leaders are corrupt. We know. We don't care. It's giving money because, hey, they support us. So like in Somalia, we've been bombing in Somalia for decades, not decades, but for at least 10 years at least. So, and the government still is okay with it. Let's see. Why is that coming up so small on the screen? Like, foreign assistance is not a neutral tool that can be used for good or evil, but structurally unsound way to achieve national security and economic growth. So yeah, there was something here that I wanted to read it, but I don't see it right now. So basically, my issue with foreign assistance or foreign aid is the fact that when you give, usually people don't give the government don't give the money directly to these countries. They go through NGOs or what's known as non-governmental organizations, and then they give out the money. Problem is with that is there's corruption, of course. The leaders of these NGOs, most part, pocket the money or keep it within the organization. So they enrich themselves while screwing over the country that they're allegedly supposed to help, or the country supposed to help gets very little of the money, or if they do get the money, there's conditions that they have to do. So yeah, foreign aid is nothing but a giant money laundering scheme. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. What do you guys think?
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay. I mean, I same sentiments. Angel, I couldn't have said it better myself.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Nothing different I have to say about it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean that if for example, like I said before, if we were to fix everything that's wrong in this country, everything, whatever you can think of, healthcare, education, limiting police power, whatever. If we took all that money and fixed our problems, then if the government wants to assist other countries and do it in a proper way, do it through a charity, not USAID, not that bullshit. I'm talking about an
Right,
actual
right. Let's
charity.
take care of
Yeah,
stuff at home first,
yeah,
and then we
I'd be
can worry
fine with
about
it.
other countries. Yeah,
I'd,
yeah,
mm.
absolutely, 100%.
So let me go to this now, if I can find it. Let's see.
It's so funny that AOC's talking about Trump and the Epstein files and all that stuff, but she never said anything about Biden. Of course, she had that photo with Biden, the sunglasses, so yeah.
Oops, hold on. Driving Me Macy says it's been a while since I've seen the three pro wrestlers in action.
Talking about us.
I assume so. That's why I kind of chuckled at it. Bill Gates hires his friends to run the healthcare of foreign governments. That's who Bill Gates. That's a huge piece of shit there. That really is involving himself in everything. Healthcare, the farmlands he's been buying up for what?
Right,
Like he
because
owns
he
all
knows
this
all of dick
farmland.
about farming. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
he's and I can't stress enough. I know Jimmy Dore had him on like a year or so ago, but James Corbett is he speaks very really eloquently about Bill Gates. Who is Bill Gates? If you go on Corbett.com, you can watch all those videos about Bill Gates, and he speaks about the fact that Bill Gates did not start poor. He was never poor. He was actually born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and his father was a big eugenics guy, which Bill Gates is also a big eugenics guy, where they think that the richest, their genes are superior to poor people, or otherwise you would be rich, right? So they think that they have superior genes, so all the slaves and all the peasants just need to die because you're ruining the country by existing. I mean, I can't stress enough that literally that's what James Corbett talks about. So if you ever want to like watch a great documentary about Bill Gates, who is Bill Gates? Corbett.com.
yeah. So this is from former Representative John J. Duncan Jr. The way most Americans feel about foreign war. I'm not gonna read much. I just wanted to read after this because he's just quoting Marjorie Taylor Greene here. I'm 51 years old and I'm Gen X. I watched your country go to war in foreign lands for foreign causes on behalf of foreign interests for as long as I can remember. I was in 10th grade when Desert Storm started. My father before me was sent to Vietnam and other senseless foreign war. America is $37 trillion in debt. I don't care about this because I don't think we're always in debt. But Trump added another $4 trillion to the deficit. Like, what difference does it make at this point? Yeah, we're in debt. No shit. And a big beautiful bill added $4 trillion in debt and in the deficit. I mean, we didn't. I don't think we discussed that part last week, but and all these foreign wars have cost Americans trillions and trillions of dollars, and never benefited any American. American troops have been killed in forever wars, torn apart by physically and mentally for regime change, foreign wars, and military industrial based profits. She's not wrong so far, but the 30. I don't care about the deficit or the debt, but talking about that, there's plenty of videos of former military. The VA is desperately underfunded. I mean, we've talked about this before. I mean, it's so underfunded they can barely serve, the veterans that they're allegedly supposed to help. And there's constant videos of these veterans just suffering and struggling, and they can't get a therapist, they can't get their medication, they can't get anything because they have mental health illness, they have PTSD. I mean, Jesus. I mean, right now I've talked about my mental illnesses before. I'm bipolar, so I understand the struggle. But at least I have access to therapists and doctors. I can get them easily.
And you
But
have friends who
yeah,
literally will talk you down off that ledge. I gave you my telephone number, and I mean exactly what I say. If you ever need to contact me because you need to talk, I will listen, and my number's there. I mean,
I
and
appreciate that.
and well, and that goes for all of my friends. That goes for Kit. That goes for little brother, big brother, you, Angel, and Snow Himbo as well. I'm there for my friends, and I would rather you talk to me than do something that we don't know about, and now we don't have you. Okay. And I can speak from experience because not that I was in the military, but my dad was in the military,
Mm-hmm.
and my dad would have excuse me, would have flashbacks. And he would always tell his sisters if he was ever in bed shaking, don't move. I mean, there's a funny story about my mom and my dad, where my dad was in bed shaking one night, and my mom propped her head up to see if he was okay, and he punched her right in the nose. But I mean, this goes
Wow.
back to my dad got over that eventually.
Yeah.
He didn't use any counseling. He didn't use any of that. And I'm not saying that everyone's like that. Okay. I'm sure my dad still suffers in his own way from
Yeah.
PTSD from being in the military.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but my dad was in Vietnam, but he didn't fight in the war. He was just a mechanic or whatever he was doing. So,
Yeah, you told that before. Your dad was in Vietnam too, but he didn't see any action. So
Yeah.
My dad would come at the tail end. In 73, the Vietnam War was kind of already, wrapped up by then.
Yeah.
My dad only became 18 in 1973, and that's when he enlisted. But he, as my dad puts it, he was over in Israel shooting towel heads, as in Arabs, or for anyone so they don't get pissed off, Persians. There.
Uh-huh.
I don't like that he did that, but he did that because the military asked him to.
Yeah.
He did that on the behest of Israel. Okay. So even back in the 70s and 80s, they were still going after Arabs. I mean, they've been going after Arabs since 1948.
Israel's
So
been
it's no different.
1948. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my dad was a part of that, and I'm sure he feels sorry for that. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. The army has. I don't know if the army brainwashed my dad or if it's just that my dad was brainwashed by Fox News because he watches it and he thinks it's real.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, our parents, if you're a millennial especially, our parents are from the 60s and 70s, so a lot more conservative, a lot more.
Well,
Not
I was able to get my dad to wake up and notice all the issues and all that stuff. But like I think I mentioned before, unfortunately, my mom still doesn't, and I think I also mentioned my sister too. They like in terms of at least for Israel, they're still buying into the narrative. So
By the way, hi, Driving Ming Macy. I didn't even see you there. The thing is, my dad had a lot of friends in Vietnam who had passed. So, like, when you go to that Vietnam War, but even though he was in the military, and no, he wasn't really in Vietnam, but he was still, he was born in 55. My mom was born in 55. They waited till later to have me because my dad was in the military. And there's lots of reasons. Like, if my dad had gotten hurt or gotten killed, I wouldn't be here today. So there's a lot of things that could have happened, but my dad, I would say he's like more. He dealt with the grief and the fact that he killed people over in Israel. He dealt with that on his own. Now there's people out there that need all the help they can get, and they can't get it because the VA is corrupted. And no politician gives a fuck about our military. Please do not believe that any politician out there today gives a fuck about our military. They're only just
troops.
pawns. Yeah, I support the troops. My
That's
asshole.
God bless America. God bless.
Yeah, no, it's like a gimmick.
Yeah,
It's a gimmick.
I think I
all
may
like wrestling.
I think I may have mentioned it before, but my grandparents were in the Holocaust, so
Yeah, you mentioned that as well.
That's
So,
right.
I've told this story before, but my dad nearly was in Vietnam too. 1964, he turned 18, right in the worst part of the Vietnam War. The only reason why he didn't serve because he had a deformity in one of his arms, so they kind of discharged him. I mean, he couldn't have been happier because he had no interest in killing a bunch of Vietnamese people. I don't think he knew where Vietnam was on the map, to be honest. I mean, that's how out of touch he was. Like, he didn't know where Vietnam was in the map. It was hilarious. It's like, and he was expected to go there and kill people. It's like, luckily, You know, my dad barely finished high school, I think. So, oh no, actually, that's not true. I think he got all the way to 6th grade before he had to drop out to help his dad, work the fields and stuff to make money.
Yeah, my
So,
my dad always talks about how, he's been working since he was 10 years old. He worked on a farm all of his life in Pennsylvania, and you know, and then when he was 18, he enlisted because he wanted to be in the military. My dad actually wanted to be in the military, and he's very, very lucky that he wasn't fucked up for life, that he came home and that he wasn't injured. I mean, he has some problems with his knees, but again, it's not like he had a limb that needed to be cut
yeah.
off. He, didn't get severely, severely hurt or mortally hurt. Um, so we're very lucky in that sense, but the mentality that he killed 22 people, and my dad has literally confessed this to me, that he killed 22 people, and that can take a toll on someone. Even my dad, who to me feels like, the whole military thing, he never expressed any of that stuff to me except for like what he did, and what he was there for, and that he killed 22 people. But I never saw the emotions my dad had for the
Yeah,
military
killing.
or being in the
Which
military.
makes it more confusing why he's watching Fox News.
Because he believes he believes what rich people tell him. I don't know.
Fox.
I can't
Fox
answer that
News
question.
is, and to be honest, it's when I don't watch corporate media anymore, but when I did, Fox News was really, really, it was entertaining. I mean, that's what it is ultimately. The MSNBC and CNN tried to play it straight, and Fox News did it for entertainment, and that's how to this day they still have a large audience. Even though,
I remember Jesse Ventura arguing with Sean Hannity.
right, it was entertaining. It was.
Oh my god. I remember when Jesse Ventura went on there, it was right after 9/11, and he was one of the 9/11
one of the
truthers.
first.
Who was saying, "Oh, it was our government," and Jesse knew the truth. He knew that this had to be an inside job, and it was. It turns out it was, with Saudi Arabia and
Jesse
Israel's
served in
help.
Vietnam
I
too.
remember
You know?
Tulsi Gabbard discussing it when she was running. She was wanting to, get the truth about 9/11 and all that stuff, but obviously she doesn't mention it.
No, that's the thing. She's she's the DNI. She's the head of national intelligence. So if she wanted to, she can get that 9/11 stuff out there. It's not even an issue anymore.
Well,
Nobody even touched it in the administration.
I remember Jesse pissed off one of those Fox News hosts so badly he walked
Right.
off the set.
I forget who it was, but yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember the soldier that pissed off Bill O'Reilly?
Yes.
It was one of the soldiers that was going to go fight in Iraq.
Yeah.
Because he was saying how we got attacked, and now I have to go off to Iraq, who didn't attack us, and it pissed off Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah, it was that fake outrage virtue signal, like, oh well,
Iraq. I remember that.
Well, you're
an American,
because you don't want to go
It was like
fight.
10 years ago when Bill O'Reilly, she had whoever that corporate woman's on. I forget her name, but she was trying to prove. Bring up the lock her up evidence, but she could never get it. She could never bring it up, and Bill O'Reilly kept hammering her on it. You know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah, I think so.
Bill O'Reilly. I'm surprised Bill O'Reilly's still alive and still working. I think he works for News Nation now. He works for News Nation now.
He
So
works there, and Chris Cuomo works
because
there. Pretty much all the former Fox News and
former CNN and Fox News guys work there now. So,
and here's the kicker, though. After this whole Jeffrey
I gotta turn on my light.
Epstein
Hold on.
The Jedi mind trick thing. Okay. So, like, after all the Jedi mind trick stupid bullshit that they're trying to do right now with Trump and there's no Epstein files. These are not the Epstein files you're looking for. Bullshit.
I know,
that's what they're trying to do. They're literally trying to do that. So, but after that, I have not seen anything on Fox News, and my dad watches Laura Ingraham. He watches Hannity. He watches Gutfeld. I mean, he watches them all. Jesse Waters.
Dirty Jesse.
He watches them all. And I have not seen anything about the Epstein files. So
They're
they
not
are
touching
literally
it, yeah.
trying to get off this subject. Yes, they are trying to hope that their audience forgets it.
For immigration or
the new Superman movie is woke or whatever. I don't care. I mean, but when you watch Fox News, you could very easily fall into that propaganda trap. because it's entertaining. You know, I mean, the
Mhm.
way they put up the graphics and the way they, all the hosts, are quite charismatic and quite good. Sean Hannity has kind of been there the longest now, but
And,
dude, he's-
Well, all of them are pedophiles, is what I was going to say. That's
And
why
here's
they won't
something-
bring it up. All of those, I'm talking Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, all of them pedophiles.
and here's something
All
you
of
don't
them.
know,
I guarantee you.
Steph, is that for the GTA franchise, they have a parody for Fox News called Weasel News. So,
yeah, they parody Fox News and
Weasel.
yeah. So Marjorie
I
Taylor
believe
Greene
it. I
does
believe it.
all this stuff, which is right. I want to fund American interests and issues.
Everybody talks about how she's the craziest woman ever. All that. I mean, yeah, she does.
And she doesn't
she
do
is-
anything.
She's
She's literally
I mean, I
votes
don't
for
support
rich
her,
people.
but she's not the worst person like people say she is.
Yeah,
you know?
she says a lot of right things, but she votes for the administration most of the time, which
Yeah.
is kind. I want
Yep.
low inflation, low interest rate. I want American construction, housing, and manufacturing
Sure she does.
boom. I want Americans to be rich and have security in their future.
What?
I
What?
want. Yeah,
Rich
we're
how?
not. All of us aren't going to
What?
be rich. I want my children's generation to have a great future.
But no one should be in poverty.
Yeah,
What
nobody
you
should
should
be
have
in
said
poverty,
is,
yeah.
I want everyone to
Yeah.
live comfortably without
Yeah,
worrying about
exactly.
where your next meal is coming from
She
or
just
making
said
ends meet.
Yeah,
That's
we all
what you
should
should
be
have said.
rich,
But
that's not going to happen. I'm pissed. It pisses me off beyond comprehension that my children's generation can't afford to buy a house, can't afford insurance, have little hope for their future. Definitely 100% true.
I love it. My kids are 22,
Yeah.
25, and 27. Well, you look like it because you look like a fucking cunt.
Americans
Oops, did
are
I say
exhausted
that?
by all these and rightly so, but she fucks it up here. I can support President Trump and his great administration on many of the great things they are doing while disagreeing on bombing Iran and getting involved in a hot war that Israel started. So yeah, she still supports the administration, even though she admits that they bombed Iran and got involved in a war that Israel started.
They couldn't even bomb Iran correctly. So
Well, at least they didn't. So far, there hasn't been much on the front of Israel and Iran, which is surprising.
Iran knows how to bomb, the correct places. Israel doesn't.
Well, and the problem with Marjorie Taylor Greene, whatever the fuck her name is, MTG, as she's called. Yeah, she talks to good talk. She's like Massey on the other side. Is it Massey's
both
Republican,
Republican.
right? Okay, so they're both
Mhm.
Republican. I thought he was a Democrat for some reason.
He's a libertarian
so they're allowed
Republican.
to talk like this because, again, it is like wrestling. There are baby faces and heels, and these people are trying to be the baby faces, yet they are the heels when it comes to voting, when it comes to, the poor or the peasants. They're no different. I'm sure once we find out, once everyone agrees that all politicians are pedophiles, you will find out Massey did a little kids, so did MTG. She probably even helped in it. I mean, these guys are bad people. Everyone in Congress and in Hollywood are bad people, okay? And I'm telling you, they try to come after my kid, I will make Satan look like an angel. And I don't even believe in Satan, y'all. But I will make him look like an angel.
You'll make him look
because
like
I'm telling you, no one's coming after my kid.
You'll make him look like an angel.
I'm sorry. Yes. No.
So
no, I'll do worse.
Glad to see you again, driving me Macy. I know it's been a while since I've seen her in chat. Hopefully you're doing well. I understand we all need breaks. We all need we need breaks from political talk, which is why I do pro wrestling talk. Which, by the way, we're gonna do it Sunday today. We're gonna do Sunday this weekend because we're watching Saturday night's main event. So we're doing it Sunday.
I linked to the yesterday about what's happened with WWE. I posted. It was a chat with.
And I will have my carrying.
Yeah, it was just a chat with you, Steph, me, and Dave, and that was the chat group I posted.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the thing about Triple H and Vince McMahon.
Yeah, that one.
Oh yeah.
I saw it briefly, but I was like, I just kind of skimmed
because
it.
the video. It's a video, right? I mean, I didn't.
Yeah.
It.
What? That they're all criminals?
No, it's just why WWE
WWE isn't the same anymore.
Isn't the same.
Hasn't been doing well. That's lately. That's what.
We can get into this more Sunday, but WWE is not the same anymore because Vince is gone, It's a corporation owned
Yeah.
by TKO owns it. This is a corporation. They don't care about wrestling. This is what they care about, making money. So, which is why wrestling is WWE is different. It's not the same it once was. Even though Triple H is the booker, but it's not the same. It's not.
Dollar signs. This is why literally what happened to WrestleMania 42, is it right? 42, we're on 42.
Yeah.
42 was supposed
New
to be in New
And now it's
Orleans,
gonna be in
right?
Vegas again.
They
And they
moved it to
pulled back
Vegas
and said,
again.
Like,
let's just
what
take
are
it
you
to Vegas.
doing?
Fuck y'all.
Why not?
That's
try
how-
out Ford?
That's how you knew that they were just after the money. They didn't care
CBC
about
why not
says,
do-
"Dick a suck,
why not do,
everybody."
Why not do Ford Field again?
Yes.
You know, in Detroit. What's wrong with that?
Well, TKO is based out of
Um,
Vegas, and I'm almost positive that WWE they're moving WWE's headquarters to Vegas, just like UFC at some point,
Yes.
and the Performance
Yep.
Center will be in Vegas too.
They'll get out
Or
of
they could do it
Connecticut
in,
and they
you
will
know,
move
London.
it to
Why not do it in London?
Vegas.
WrestleMania and you know, like they don't need to do it in the US. They could do it in London.
So
They can do it
can
anywhere, really.
But let's get off of wrestling. That's Sunday, but we can discuss this Sunday all we want. In 19, so this is from a Twitter thread from Rob D. Martin. He's anti-communist, so you know who he is, but he put an interesting thread out here. By 1977, Iran was one of America's closest allies. By 1979, it was chanting "Death to America."
Not by Iran. Not by Iran.
Not by Iran.
What changed Jimmy Carter? He betrayed our ally, empowered the Ayatollah, and gave birth to 46 years of terror. So this is from a right-wing slant, but at the same time, I found it interesting because
it was Israel that was chanting "Death to America," right?
Yes, sir.
So he blames Jimmy Carter for this somehow. It sounds
and for some reason, Zy Squirrel. I mean, she does great work, even though she blocked me.
She blocked me too, which is why I don't understand why.
But she praised Jimmy Carter a lot, didn't she? Like in a lot of tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes in. I wanted to respond to this because he sounds like it's okay. In 1977, our two strongest allies in the Middle East was Israel and Iran. Yes, Iran, the Shah was pro-Western, modernizing, and fiercely anti-communist. Henry.
But what he missed there also, if I could just say one other thing, Angel, he missed there that in 1953 they overthrew the elected
Mohammed Mossadegh
Shah and put in the Ayatollah. Yeah,
and they put in the Shah, which is this guy here.
They put in the
Henry
Shah,
Kissinger called him the rock of stability in the region. So his son, in fact, was making the rounds, trying to say, "Oh, Iran is my country still. I should be the Shah. I'm the Shah." Blah blah blah. He's still alive, by the way, and he's still when Israel invaded, or not invaded, but attacked Iran, he was making the rounds again, like, "Hey, if you're gonna overthrow him, I want to be installed," basically. And I'm sure the U.S. and Israel would install him because he'll do exactly what he's told.
So I just want to interrupt just really quickly. Yankees lead 3-0. Cody Bellinger continues to stay hot.
Great. He should have been an all-star, but he was robbed. So that's my opinion on that. On New Year's Eve,
homered against his former team, by the way.
Yeah. On New Year's Eve, 1977, Jimmy Carter stood by the Shah and toasted him as the island of stability and one of the most troubled areas of the world. He said, "No leader on earth has earned his deeper personal friendship." That was December 1977.
Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Yeah, I mean, for some, Jimmy Carter even though a lot of left wingers and progressives loved Jimmy Carter, he was a peace president allegedly. He did all these nice stuff, but ultimately he was a Zionist. He was just your standard, on foreign policy. He supported the Shah. He supported all of these leaders.
He supported Russiagate too. So
yeah, when he was alive. Yeah,
he also supported deregulating the trucking industry.
Even though that progressives they want to cover that stuff up, but he did a lot of derailing.
Like how they're still supporting Mamdani, even though.
Yeah. By 1979, 13 months later, the Shah was gone. In his place, Ayatollah Khomeini, Iran's new regime, called America the Great Satan, held Americans hostage, and began funding terrorism across the globe. It was Carter who let it happen.
The Ayatollah of rock and roll.
Oh no, Dr. Shergo. Where's Bad Cookies at? Suck at that. Okay.
Why Carter believed the Shah was a human rights abuser and the Ayatollah the Ayatollah was a moderate. So he pulled support and told the world, we have no intention of trying to intercede on the internal political affairs of Iran, which he was right about. Why in the world would you invade? Or would you try to interfere in Iran's political? What are you going to do? Bomb them and make them more radical? Because they're already radical as it is.
Iran.
So what's his answer? I would love
Iran,
to. What's your answer? Just bomb the shit out of Iran in 1979? That would have been worse.
It would have been worse, and I think that's probably why it didn't happen. But the thing is, I think that was all made up to get us into a war with Iran. Iran never, they literally don't want to poke the bear. They never have. But we went in there without their consent and literally overthrew the elected president of Iran in 1953. You think Iranians kind of, if they did have audacity towards Americans, hello.
Here's the evidence that Iran has nuclear weapons right here.
Nope. All right, so he complains, but he complains. In October 1979, Carter let the ailing Shah enter the U.S. for cancer treatment. On November 4th, enraged Iranian radicals stormed the U.S. Embassy in Tehran and took 52 Americans hostage. They held him 444 days. So somehow I don't know how he connects letting the Shah into the U.S. for cancer treatment to the Iranian hostage crisis. Because
they found a way to do it. Anything to get into Iran, get those materials that they have coveted for years. This is all a big propaganda thing. Starting with this,
bullshit.
Because I don't believe a word of it. Yeah,
I'm sorry. This is bullshit, though. This pisses me off. Carter's response: weak, aimless, and embarrassing. The hostages were finally released just 20 minutes after Ronald Reagan took office, not a second sooner. The Ayatollah knew Carter wouldn't act. He knew Reagan would. This is total bullshit. The actual story behind this.
I don't remember a war with Iran in Ronald Reagan's time. And I wasn't even. We came at the tail end of Reagan.
He's talking about the Iran, the hostage crisis that it ended 20 minutes after Reagan taken office. That's what he's talking about here.
But that had nothing to do with Reagan.
No, but
really.
What happened was the Reagan campaign, because he's running for president in 1980, called the Iranians don't release the hostages until I take office.
Not until
that way I can get credit for it.
Right. This was all preordained and pre-done. Again, just like wrestling. Hey, don't do something till I do something, and it'll be really cool. We'll really excite the fans. Of course, this has been professional wrestling because all these guys have wanted to be professional wrestlers.
Yeah. So
back in the territory days,
the Reagan administration promised them to sell weapons to them. And this is what led to the Iran-Contra scandal in Reagan's second term. Because it was discovered. Yep. So that's the real story behind this. He's just not telling the facts because, and Jimmy Carter tried until his last day as president to negotiate that release, and the Iranians never released them because they were promised weapons from the Americans, from the Reagan administration, and they delivered on that promise. And that would led to the Iran-Contra scandal because the Contras were a Nicaraguan drug cartel. And the money went through them. So they laundered the money to them, to the Iranians. It was this whole mess. And it turns out that, of course, Ronald Reagan was not touched by this scandal. It was everybody underneath him that took the fall.
By the way, Steph, I don't know if you saw CBC's last reply there.
Dick a suck, everyone. Suck a dick.
So he just blames Jimmy Carter for everything goes wrong here.
Yeah, and without blaming Ronald Reagan, because Reagan had his, take in this. I mean, Reagan was no saint. I mean, that people in the 60s thought it was so funny that Ronald Reagan would run that they actually did a laugh-in skit about this. It's kind of like an SNL skit.
Reagan was an actor. He was the wannabe Marlon Brando. He's a wannabe Marlon Brando.
It was the Berlin Wall thing or whatever that.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. And everybody, it's played to this day.
That was back in our day. That was like when Angel and I were 3 years old.
Day, like a historic moment that once Reagan said that, the walls were torn down. That's not true. It happened months later, I think. So
Yep.
again,
Yep,
you
yep.
know that to try to put Reagan over as this incredible great president. It's like he said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," and somehow right after that the walls were torn. That's not true. That's not what happened.
And he's
It
the one
happened.
that came up with.
No.
He's really the one that came up with "Make America Great Again." So pretty much Trump.
Yeah, his first campaign slogan, "Make America Great Again."
Mhm.
So Donald Trump literally
And we were never great.
stole
So
that from Reagan and made it his campaign slogan. So he claims because of Jimmy Carter, by the way, 46 years of Iranian-funded terror, 444 American hostages. Excuse me. Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Houthis, all created because of Carter. The Iran-Iraq War, nuclear weapon deployment, decades of terrorism around the war. None of this is true, by the way. It's not Jimmy Carter's fault. It's everybody's fault. All this stuff.
It was all preordained to try to get a war with Iran. It did not succeed until 2025.
This is hilarious. The Shah was far from perfect, but he was liberalizing Iran. I bet gradually. Women were free. Democracy was coming, slowly but surely. That's bullshit. Democracy wasn't coming with the Shah. Iran was stable and moving into the first world. Look at it now. And this virtue signaling SJW
they were already
stuff.
first world.
And now it's
But again, the thing that pisses me off is they're going to go into Iran and say, well, you need to be a democracy. Fuck you. How would you like it if Iran came over and said, you have to be a theocracy? You wouldn't like it. You would tell them to go suck a dick. So stop thinking that just because we're a democracy, which we're not, we're a fascist oligarchy, that we should go ahead and spread democracy around the world. Well, we can't even have it here. Because the rich people do not want the peasants to own anything. They want you to own nothing, be happy, and eat sea bugs, you peasants. And then they want to
It reminds me when Bernie Sanders went on the Andrew Schultz show, and then they got him to admit that the Democrats are also a threat to democracy.
Bam! There is no democracy. There never was.
Yeah, there's this total...
Because rich people don't like democracy because it means, a fair thing for everybody. What are you laughing at? I'm sorry, I couldn't get it out. Oh, we're getting our
Donald the Dick Sucker.
Donald
there you go. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yes, you win the internet, Max.
So most Fridays I eat spaghetti and there's too much sauce, so which is why I end up, either doing that, hiccups or halfway through articles and stuff. So it's too saucy.
Well, hey, pass some spaghetti this way, man.
It's too saucy and
just pass it through the internet.
There's a lot of seasoning on it, so it's strong. So that's why.
I'm telling you, when I get enough money and we can get together and do a show, I'm gonna come to New Jersey and you're gonna take me out to a nice restaurant. I'll pay. Of course. Take me out to one of your restaurants because your food looks amazing.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, Angel. I need to
it's fantastic. That's why I'm gaining weight.
I'll probably gain
That's why
weight,
I've gained weight too, because we can cook, we can whip up pretty good food. This is called.
I'm telling you.
This article is by Jose Nino. It's called "Trump's Anti-War Myth and the Zionist Reality" from the Libertarian Institute.
Vega.
Yeah, I mean, I almost said Vega, but it's like, it's Nino. Okay. I don't think he writes articles as far as I know, but he could. Donald Trump's America First message promised an end to foreign entanglements, but his aggressive Iran policy tells us a different story. His administration's decision to carry out airstrikes on Iranian nuclear facilities, which failed, in Isfahan, Fordo, and Natanz on June 21st, 2025, further underscores this contradiction. But when one looks at overall track record, one realizes that Trump has been a consummate Iran hawk from day one. By the way, I hate that. I hate when he says, when one realizes that Trump has been but when one looks at his overall track record, one realizes that Trump has been a consummate Iran war hawk from day one. Like, who says one like that? You should say, but when I look at his overall track record, I realize that Trump is like saying one, it's kind of like a weird, but that's just me, that I digress.
Like that Metallica song.
Yeah, it's like Trump's claim to be an anti-war president has been a cornerstone of his political brand since he first entered the national stage. He has repeatedly declared great nations do not fight endless wars. On the campaign trail, he positioned himself as a candidate who would break with the interventionist consensus of the past, railing against the Iraq War.
We talking about the first
This is
time or
his
the second
first
time?
campaign he's talking about.
Okay.
Forever wars of his predecessors. In 2019 State of Union address, he told Congress and the nation, "Our brave troops have now been fighting in the Middle East for almost 19 years. It's time to give our brave warriors in Syria a warm welcome home." And unfortunately, that withdrawal never happened because Donald Trump ordered some bureaucrat to do it, to handle the withdrawal, and the bureaucrat never did it, and Donald Trump never asked him again. So he never followed
And-
up with him.
Donald
Yeah.
Trump lied?
And-
No! Say it ain't.
It's like I
No.
mentioned before, all these excuses from the Trump supporters who said, "Oh, he never started any new wars in the first term." Well, they can't use that anymore. It's over.
Well, not only that, but that doesn't hold true because he killed
Yeah,
Saddam
in the first term.
and that he was trying so hard to get
Even
a war
then.
with Iran, and finally, it looks like he might have done
Macy
it.
says it's not pleasant at all. So I guess she's referring to Max's post there. Even in his second campaign,
I'm
Trump
guessing.
doubled down. "I'm not going to start wars. I'm going to stop war." But this anti-war rhetoric has always been a smokescreen. 100% true, especially when it comes to Iran, a country that has been the singular focus of Trump's most aggressive interventionist actions. So
And
yeah,
he just said he's going to continue
Ew.
shipment of weapons to Ukraine. So
yes, also that's
Macy.
true. The Trump administration just announced that they're going to continue to send weapons to Ukraine after temporary
Right.
stopping.
I mean, yeah, I was just going to say that, little brother.
Yeah,
I think we're on the same wavelength here. He said in his first day of office, within 24 hours, he would stop the Ukraine war. He would end all all transmissions of not only funding but also weapons.
and then they
And ta-da! Here
passing
we
and
are.
passing and passing. We didn't hear anything, and now there you go.
Shit.
Yep.
So drop the top to my bottle. Trump's hostility towards Iran, alleged nuclear ambitions, is well documented.
I wouldn't know. I don't have sex with my cats.
Okay.
Just wanna throw
He
that out
made
there.
his opposition to Iran's nuclear program clear long before his 2016 campaign. In his 2011 book, Time to Get Tough, Trump wrote, "America's primary goal with Iran must be to destroy his nuclear ambitions." Again, that's a total lie.
Trump is the
he
prime
was-
definition of fake tough guy.
He was saying this.
Yeah, I mean, Trump could say I'm a pink rabbit with, blue tips. I don't care. He could say I suck dick every day. No one believes Trump.
He wrote this bullshit lie like he's been repeating now for 20 years, back in 2011 in his book. America's primary goal with Iran must be to destroy his nuclear ambitions. Let me put them as plainly as I know how. Iran's nuclear program must be stopped by any and all means necessary. He was saying this in 2011, by the way, long before he even thought about running for president.
There is no nuclear program.
And
You
Netanyahu
moron.
keeps saying, "Oh, they're moments away from."
They're weeks away.
Yeah, he's been saying that for 20 fucking years.
He told longer. He told Ronald Reagan this. They're weeks away from a nuclear weapon. Yeah.
So 30 years, over 30 years, almost 40 years.
He told Ronald Reagan towards the end of his
40
second
years.
term, but Reagan probably didn't understand him because he had Alzheimer's. Even at the end of his second term.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty much gone by then.
So,
yep.
I'm surprised
And we
Biden
came at
doesn't have
you and me, Angel. We came at the tail end.
I'm surprised Biden doesn't have Alzheimer's.
He could have
He
Alzheimer's
does.
or dementia, but he has
he does.
something definitely.
He
definitely.
Biden don't even remember his name half the time.
Yeah, they were. I think at the end of his second term, Reagan's staff was just like Biden's staff. They were basically protecting him and telling him what to do, pretty much.
And we were babies. We were like
this shows
3 years old. When did
Reagan
wait, hang on. When did Bush Sr. take
89.
office? 89?
Reagan left office in 89.
Yeah, okay. So we were like 2 or 3 years old when
Bush Sr.
came
was
in.
elected in 88 and took office in 89. So yeah, it was 80. Reagan left office in 89.
Yeah, so we came at the right tail end, and little brother wouldn't
we cannot allow we cannot allow this radical regime to acquire a nuclear weapon that will either you use or hand off to terrorists.
They
That's
haven't.
the thing.
They haven't for 40 years,
If
motherfucker.
you read Donald Trump's book, that's what he believes, and he had for at least 20 years, so
Here's the
15
evidence,
years.
folks.
So,
And that was
yeah,
14 years ago.
Right here.
and nothing.
Yeah, right
Throughout
there.
2015, 2016, Trump consistently criticized the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or more commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal. Trump's always hated that deal. That's why he ripped it up when he got into office.
And Joe Biden didn't
and Joe Biden didn't put us back in it.
Yeah. We're all
Again, that's the thing.
On the same page. Yes.
Oh, we're all talking over each other, but we said the same thing pretty much. Joe Biden never got us back in it, so I don't want to hear progressives whining about he ripped up the Iran nuclear deal. Yeah, that's true.
That was one of Kyle Kowinski's one of the most exciting moments when Joe Biden won, that he was going to get back to the Iran nuclear deal.
But he never did. He never did, and he never mentioned it again. By the way, he never.
Kyle did make a video.
Kuklinski went and
responded about Biden tearing out the nuke or not going back to the nuclear. He did make a video about that.
Oh well, I must have missed it. I don't really watch him anymore. I haven't watched him in years, regularly at least.
Yeah, I haven't watched him since like 2017.
I haven't watched it since, I guess, when he smeared Jimmy Dore. Oh,
okay, that was a few years ago.
I stopped watching when he said, I stopped watching first because he was like, well, you shouldn't cut your son's penis, the whatever, the circumcision or whatever. I said, first of all, you're not a doctor. So don't tell me. I've had 3 or 4 doctors tell me why my son should have been circumcised, because it's healthier for men to do that. Okay. So I don't need Kyle Kuklinski, who's not a doctor, never seen a fucking foreskin in his fucking life. So don't tell me how to raise my kids or what to do with my son. Okay. I stopped watching, but then I started watching again, but I stopped watching permanently when he said that the squad had Washington brain.
Kyle doesn't have Dickie McGee sex, as he would say.
Yeah, it's just
That's
stupid.
right. I mean, he is circumcised. He is a boy who was circumcised, but he goes, but I never got that chance. Because if you literally had your foreskin, guess what? It can lead to unhealthy things for you, you stupid motherfucker.
First of all, it's the one that, tells him what to do.
But don't tell me what to do with my son's dick, all right? It's my son's dick.
So Trump described the Iran nuclear deal as a disaster.
Imagine if your son came in and be like, what are you talking about, Mom?
No, he's with his daddy.
He described as a disaster and so terrible it could lead to a nuclear holocaust during his first presidential campaign. That's a lie, but when Trump talked peace to certain political audiences, his actual policy towards Iran was one of relentless escalation. The maximum pressure sanction campaign launched after his unilateral withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal in May 2018 marked a sharp break from his anti-war persona. Trump called the Iran nuclear deal the worst deal ever, claiming that it enriched the Iranian regime and enabled his malign behavior, while best delaying his ability to pursue nuclear weapons. He ordered the immediate reimposition of sanctions targeting Iran's energy, petrochemical, and financial sectors, as promised severe consequences for anyone who failed to shut down business ties with Iran. By the way, these sanctions, they're all bullshit, because these corporations can get around these sanctions by, opening offices in countries that don't have sanctions with Iran. So those companies do business with Iran, while eventually the profits get back to the main company once the United States government passes repatriation. Repatriation, what is that called? When corporations bring back their profits from other countries to the U.S. It's a repatriation holiday where they don't have to pay taxes on it.
Oh, I was just gonna say tax dodging.
No,
it's that's
usually
what it is.
Usually, when they bring back profits from other countries, you have to pay a tax on it. It's called. But when you repatriate, the government, it can occasionally put in holidays, which means you have to pay taxes on it. Yeah, they do this every few years,
right? And they do that all the time. Someone told me that it's like when the government was talking about invading Mexico and this whole thing with Mexico and the cartels and stuff. Someone had said, and I think it was Jimmy Dore who said this, oh, how dare they have our oil under their land?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the mentality of all this bullshit, especially with Iran, especially with Iraq, and especially with Mexico, because Mexico has a lot of oil. Some say more than Iran has. But I mean, they have coveted Iran for so many years because Iran has the oil that the United States wants. And here's the big kicker: Iran gives it to their citizens for practically next to
As Jimmy
nothing.
Dore would say, cut the
So,
mic,
and
cut the mic.
Exactly. So I mean, I praise Jimmy Dore for this because I watched him religiously, and it broke my heart so much that he became a Trump.
No,
person.
that's not true. That's not true.
No.
Go
Well,
watch.
I
Go
hope
watch
it's
his
not,
recent
but
videos. He's been calling out Trump a lot in this video. So.
All right, I will go watch them, and I hope that you're right.
Don't-
But I have to give it to Jimmy Dore though, because I love his little skits that he used to do, especially when they did the one where Trump was we took the oil, we're protecting the oil, and he's like, hey, cut the mic, cut the
You
mic,
accidentally
that kind of thing.
admitted the truth.
Like, I can picture a staff doing this,
I was just
and
saying,
then the papers go everywhere.
don't be like Cowboy Kitty or whatever his name is. Where he's talking about, oh, Jimmy Dore is still selling out to Trump. Like, no, that's not true. Yes, he's done some videos like that where he gives Trump
Natalie,
credit on stuff. No, he's not a Trumper. He's not. So.
Yes.
I will take the benefit of the doubt, and I won't go full on hating Jimmy Dore, because I do love his old skits. But yeah, I do agree, Natty. They also have a large deposit of lithium, which they use for batteries in laptops and
electric
shit,
cars,
so that your battery laptop can blow.
Cars and all the other electronics.
And
by the way,
cars,
right. Thrilled with you revealing too much about Kyle.
Sorry, Macy. Sorry, but it is true. I mean, he literally had a whole segment based on the fact that you shouldn't blah, blah, blah. I can't even talk. Circumcise your sons. And I was like, first of all, this guy has no kids. He's not a fucking doctor. He's not even married.
At the time,
and no prospects of having any kids. He doesn't want fucking kids. He hates kids. And literally, he's sitting here telling me that I shouldn't circumcise my son. Yeah, go suck a dick.
Yeah,
Seriously.
he thinks he's an expert. He thinks he's an expert at everything. But there's an old saying: if you're an expert at everything, you're an expert in nothing. So, let me get back to this.
But just one more thing. Yankees now lead 5-0. Cody Bellinger homered again.
he should have been. He should have been an all-star. I've been saying.
Don't give up the ghost.
Yeah, he replaced Max Fried on the roster.
Yeah. He's pitching tonight, so he's pitching really well so far. So,
yeah, these sanctions were among the harshest in modern history, designed to bring Iran's oil exports to zero, denying the regime its principal source of revenue. The Trump administration continues to add new layers of sanctions, targeting Iran's central bank, space program, and even the supreme leader's inner circle. I didn't know Iran had a space program, so they
neither did anyone else. But I mean, they want to keep Iran down because they want all that stuff for themselves. They want that lithium. They want that oil. They want all that stuff. They coveted that. They have coveted that stuff, like I said, for many, many, many years now. We're talking 50
In October
years.
2019, Trump sanctioned the Iranian construction sector, explicitly linking it to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which he had just designated as a foreign terrorist organization. That would be like if we were to, or another country would designate one of our national guards a terrorist organization. It's just absurd.
And I think to this day, Ted Cruz still doesn't know the population of Iran.
Oh, I'm sure.
Ted Cruz doesn't know the population of Texas, nor does he fucking care.
Nightmares of Tucker Carlson.
I'm sure he has wet dreams about Tucker Carlson.
The first time the United States has ever labeled another nation's military as a terrorist organization.
We're the terrorists.
Trump boasted, if you're doing business with the IRGC, you will be bankrolling terrorism. This designation will be the first time that the United States ever named another government
Trump,
as an FTO, or foreign terrorist organization. Yeah, these moves are not.
who are the
These
terrorists.
moves were not just economic warfare.
Sorry.
They were also designed to isolate Iran diplomatically, cripple its economy, and lay the groundwork for military escalation. So, yes, 100% correct again. I mean, just designating the military as a terrorist organization. What if Iran could raise you say, you know what, the U.S. military is a terrorist organization? And they would be right in that case.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. That's what we're saying. Literally, the United States is funding Israel, who are the terrorists. So we are funding terrorists. And in Syria, we literally funded both sides of the war. So, I mean, we cannot speak on this, but yet Trump has done it many times. Oh, we have to fight these terrorists. Bush said it. We have to stop these terrorist killers. Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive.
Now watch this drive. Yeah, Bush, I mean, he made it worse. He is the terrorist killer that literally planned 9/11 with Israel and with Saudi, the Saudi government and Israel, to literally get us into a war with Iraq. There you go.
But I still couldn't believe when there were a bunch of Palestinian counts who were glad about the Syrian takeover or the regime, whatever it was that happened last winter.
Yeah, when the terrorists took over.
I say those are bots.
Well,
to be honest, that has a bot vibe.
Or like Gaza notifications, I thought they were like a legit account, but then when I saw them praising, I was like, okay, I gotta unfollow them. So
yeah, literally the new president of Syria was an Al-Qaeda terrorist at one point, and somehow now he's like, we all respect him now. All of a sudden, he's the president. Why? Because he's subservient to Israel and the Zionists. That's why he's like, oh yeah, he's cool now.
Absolutely.
What these motherfuckers don't know is that people elected Assad. They elected him. Obviously, they care for Assad.
I mean, it's no different than when they elected the what was he called? The elected president of Iran?
Well,
what was he called?
Oh no,
yeah, before the Ayatollah, whoever they overthrew in 1953, the Shah.
For Gaddafi, people voted for Gaddafi. They didn't want it.
Yeah, I mean, and literally the United States goes in, takes these guys out, and makes it worse. What came out of Iraq when we took out Saddam Hussein was literally more terrorists, was literally people who had been in ISIS, who accidentally named themselves after an Egyptian goddess. Anyway, I survived. I call him ISIL because I actually do call to ISIS. She is one of my goddesses. So,
by the way,
guys, calling him ISIL.
Yeah, Obama started calling him ISIL.
I mean, I don't like saying that ISIS because she's not a terrorist. She's actually a goddess. So.
Before there was the ISIS terrorists, there's a band that I was listening to a rock or metal band named ISIS. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're no longer around. I mean, they disbanded before the ISIS terrorists.
Come on!
By
don't
the
ruin
way,
my dreams like that. No, just one more thing, Angel. Right. Back in when this came out, when ISIS became a thing, or ISIL became a thing, there was an ISIS bookstore, and it was the Egyptian, ISIS, right? This big bookstore kept getting hit because they thought it meant
stupid
ISIS, the terrorists, or the
people didn't know better.
The group. And I was like, people are so fucking stupid because she is a representation of an Egyptian goddess. She was Horus's mother.
So
if you know anything about Egyptian gods or goddesses
too, that's great.
Yeah.
By
the way,
okay. Good.
Like everybody knows, I've been talking about it. I do need a new computer, and I've been trying to fundraise it online. I got a few donations, but I need more. So if you guys are able to donate, my link's in the description box below. So please do. I greatly appreciate any donation that I get. But
I'm trying to save up money for you, my friend.
I appreciate it.
Trust me, it's gonna happen.
So another thing I wanted to mention, what was it? It was something else. Oh yeah, make sure you like. Make sure you give me, if you haven't already, click that like button on YouTube and on Rumble. Very important.
Subscribe.
Because I'm sure that I'm shadow banned, and I know I am in shadow banned because we at one point we had we had monetization, but I'm losing my voice. But
like the Rock.
Water.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get some
Yeah.
water in here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, hold on, I'm gonna have to do it.
So, yeah, I mean, I hate, beating a dead horse, but it is what it is. And unfortunately, that's why we come here and yell about
Yeah.
politics. All this bullshit is just Trump being Trump, being the liar that he is, the liar he's always been. He's just a fake
Mhm.
millionaire who made it by sucking a lot of dick and getting to where he is. That's all you have to do to be rich nowadays is you have to suck the right
Yeah.
dick. Well, I'm sorry I don't do that because I suck my
So-
husband's dick. And, well,
So we
apparently that's not the
Yeah.
right dick, but
Yeah,
I'll
we-
take it because I love
we
it.
discussed this before.
Someone needs to make a supercut already. We're still waiting for
Yeah, I would post it and stuff, and somebody made it.
Yeah, hey, where's my counter?
I forgot
Where's my
about
counter?
it. It's there in the thing, but I forgot about it. The most dramatic example of Trump's hawkishness in his first term was January 2020, the assassination of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. Yes, we've talked about this plenty of times.
Salamuni.
Ordered by Trump via drone strike in Baghdad. Trump justified the strike by claiming Soleimani was plotting imminent and sinister attacks on American diplomats and military personnel. No evidence for that, by the way. And Trump never presented evidence for that.
Yeah.
What Soleimani was doing, as we discussed,
that,
was
right-
fighting ISIS
right there.
or ISIL. So that's what he was doing there.
And it still crushed me, when Tulsi, when she called out Trump for, killing Soleimani, and now she was for it. So it's just...
Well,
It broke me and Angel when when Bernie Sanders, he came out and he literally cucked to the establishment, started sucking the right dick, and here we are.
The
Bernie
moment
Sanders is a cuck.
I realized that when he endorsed Hillary Clinton after the campaign, that's when I knew that he's not really in this.
Joe Biden and then Kamala.
He's not in this. When he said, do you want a revolution during his opening of his stump speech, everybody cheered. He didn't mean it. He definitely not mean it.
He said he didn't want
Once
to
he
be like
did
Ralph
that.
Nader, so
Yeah, so
Yeah, but Ralph Nader is still alive. I think what he meant is I don't want to be like JFK.
yeah. Even Ralph Nader now has his head right, and he
Yeah,
supports everything the U.S. does. So eventually
So they got to
you
him
get your
too.
head
They
right.
got to
You
Jesse.
get your
They
head
got
right
to him.
eventually, one way or another.
Yep.
Especially,
Or you become JFK.
if you're prominent, if you're someone that's important, quote unquote, you'll get your head right eventually.
I mean, you don't. Otherwise, you get your brain
at
splattered all over.
least
a car.
Oliver Stone admitted he was wrong for voting for Joe Biden. I heard him say that.
Oliver Stone.
Well, and if I could just say something real briefly,
Uh-huh.
really briefly. I also wanted to say, along with not getting the Jeffrey Epstein files, everything they brought out about JFK, we already knew. We already knew
Yeah.
Israel was a part of that.
Yeah.
We already knew that.
So there's nothing new in those files either that the administration
When
revealed.
Fox News asked Trump, "Are you going to release that Epstein files?" He's like, "Yes, maybe.
Maybe yes. The problem is when he keeps when he does that. When he does that, he gives the left more ammunition. Like, oh well, he's in the files,
Right.
definitely. He's definitely there. That's why he won't release it.
Well, we already knew that. I mean, that's
pretty
shit that
good
we
for
already knew. Of course, he's in the files. So is Musk. So is Pam Bundy.
He gives the left
Whatever the fucking hell her
ammunition.
name is.
You said
Ammunition.
Whatever the fucking hell her name is.
Bondi.
Pam
Bondi,
yeah.
whatever. Bondi, suck a dick. I don't care. But her name's on it too. Her name is in it too.
Or whatever.
Move.
Her name could be suck a dick for all I care.
The move brought the United States and Iran to the brink of war. Iran responded with missile strikes on U.S. bases, and the world held its breath as both sides teetered on the edge of a wider conflict. After the near miss, Trump continued to escalate. In his final months of his first term, he reportedly sought options for military strikes on Iran nuclear facility. He's been chomping at the bits of striking Iran's nuclear facilities for at least 8 years, 9 years. Even in his first term, he was desperately trying to do it. And now he got the opportunity. And again, he's not going to stop with these bombings. I at the time, I predicted in 90 days we would have troops on the ground in Iran.
And he was the one who went after Jeb Bush and say, obviously, the war in Iraq was a big, fat mistake. We should have never gone there. It was a big mistake. Should never.
He wasn't wrong. He wasn't wrong, but he was lying because he wanted to do the exact same thing.
I mean, so we know that Trump can do
Yeah.
promos. Okay.
It was
right.
It was the intervention of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Mark Milley, and other senior advisors that prevented Trump from moving forward. Milley warned, if you do this, you're going to have a fucking war, and implemented daily calls with top officials to land the plane and avoid a catastrophic conflict, which is why Trump hasn't hired any of these, insiders, these DC insiders. He's hired all his friends and Fox News hosts and podcasters to be in his administration. Literally, by the way, Dan Bongino was a podcaster.
The ones who suck
Dan
his dick,
Bongino
of
is a
course.
podcaster. Now he's a deputy director of the FBI. Pete Hegseth.
Yep. Cash Patel, wasn't he a friend of somebody?
Well, his wife, this Cash Patel's wife, was from Prager, or what's that?
The Prager Institute.
He also was an IDF soldier, I think. So.
Oh well, there you go. Yeah. I didn't know that part.
Again, they're all fucking connected.
Yeah, and Pete Hegseth was a Fox News host, and now he's Secretary of Defense. So Trump hired.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's a Trump.
Well, again, I don't judge because I do drink, so you could call me a drunk.
Yeah, but you don't drink to get drunk.
You don't drink,
I mean, you get tipsy, but you don't you don't have a problem. You don't need an AA.
Even though
these motherfuckers need an AA and fat.
Natalie, unless this is just breaking news, it was only news about Bongino and Cash Patel thinking about resigning from.
I did read Bongino is resigning, I think, or considering resigning.
They're not saying that. It hasn't said it's happened. They're saying people saying they could resign.
I did read that, which is why he's resigning already. I mean, we'll see what happens, but he hasn't been on the.
Tulsi Gabbard called Trump Saudi Arabia's bitch, and now she's become his bitch. So.
Yeah, so here's the thing: once you're offered power, it's hard to turn it down, especially. So that's why she supported Trump.
And she's a pedophile. They probably have
that
something
too,
on her.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Aloha, people.
I did a little kid.
By the way, Anthony Volpe hit an RBI double. So
he got a base hit. Wow, that's shocking. In Trump's second term, he has seen a return to this pattern. In 2025, he resurrected the maximum pressure campaign, signing a memorandum to reimpose sanctions on Iran and targeting its nuclear program and broader economy. As tensions with Iran and Israel escalated, Trump privately approved plans for the U.S. military strikes on Iran, moving carrier strike groups, bombers, and advanced fighters into position for a potential attack. Trump informed senior aides that he approved of an attack plans for Iran, but was holding off on a final order to see if Tehran would abandon its nuclear program. So how are they going to abandon the nuclear program? Again, it's like them asking us to abandon our nuclear. It's like them asking us to abandon our nuclear program because no electricity for your grid, nothing. You can't do any nuclear program anymore. How would that reverse it? How would we react? Like, fuck off.
We would tell them to go. Yeah, we would tell them to go suck a dick.
That's why it makes no sense.
Again, this is going right back. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, but it's not good for the goose or the gander. Because if it was, as you said, Angel, if it was reversed, they would tell us, we would tell them to go suck a dick. It's not going to happen. But, I love it how, the United States and some of the people are just like, well, they have to do what we say. What? Who fucking made up that rule? This is another country. We can't just go into other countries and say, you have to do what we say because we're the boss. Fuck you. They'll tell you to go suck a dick.
Here's the thing: there's a lot of countries have told the U.S. to fuck itself, but what happens? They get overthrown.
Yeah.
There's a coup. There's they get killed, and we install a leader that will do exactly what we tell them to do. That's what happens.
Even if we tell them to give up their weapons and they give up their weapons, we still overthrow them. So even if they do what we tell them to do, they still literally get overthrown.
At one point.
So it's like damned if you do and damned if you don't. It's
at one point, the U.S. government was friends with Saddam Hussein. They were friends with Muammar Gaddafi. They were friends with a lot of these dictators that they eventually overthrew because it was.
Now they have open slave markets in Libya.
In Tripoli, in the capital, there's open slave markets. And Tripoli at one point was a beautiful city. It was, and so now today it's just a wasteland. It's a hellscape. It's open slavery out there.
A wasteland too.
We came, we
He
saw,
died.
he died. And I
Like
sucked
Hillary
dick.
Clinton, when
You
he
know, I
said
hate her.
she started laughing.
Ugh. She's like a zombie
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
won't die.
and again, they're like, and some
Mhm.
Democrats are seriously pushing Hillary to run again. It's like she's the
Oh,
best shot we
yeah.
got. We're the best shot.
I'm telling you, she's like the fucking zombie that won't
It's like,
die.
what is she in her?
I saw a
You
funny
killed the
meme.
damn zombie. She keeps
I
coming
saw a
back.
funny meme. Someone, you know, the Jeffrey Epstein room that, you know, that the minute was taken out or whatever. Someone admitted that Hillary Clinton came in the room.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, like
I wouldn't
she
doubt
did it
it.
to that. She forced Epstein up there to suicide himself, or or end himself, whatever. Yeah.
Self-delete
As
himself.
the current crisis with Iran and Israel threatens to spiral into a wider war, Trump's true priorities are clearer than ever. According to a report by The Independent, Trump has been increasingly shunning the isolationist advisors he brought into his cabinet and those who helped him get elected to the second term in favor of a trio of hawkish voices who have spent years arguing the United States to take action against Iran. When he tells the public, nobody knows what I'm going to do, which is bullshit. We all know what he's going to do. The reality is that the administration is preparing for war, moving military assets into place and seeking counsel from the most hardline Iran hawks in Washington. One of them being John Bolton, I'm sure. He's, even though Trump supposedly hates him now, but I'm sure he's been involved in that. He went
I
on
think
Fox News.
the cringiest one in his administration right now is Christine Noem.
Oh God,
And she needs to
she's
die
the
like the
governor.
dog
She was the governor of what, North Dakota or South Dakota? Now all of a sudden she's the top cop in the country. That's bullshit.
Two
Like
Disney's made a funny joke in one of the videos they covered about her was how can you sound like you're how can you look like in your 20s but you sound like you're in the 80s or whatever.
Like she's like she has the deer in headlights look all the time. Like her eyes are like this, like
yeah, like because she's had face surgery. She looks like this like all the time.
Well, don't
like,
forget Tulsi Gabbard wasn't
But
she had that deer in the headlights look when someone said share with the committee and she was speechless, she couldn't say anything.
Well, people call her Cruella
That
de Vil because
white
she has
hair,
that disease where she has like that skunk.
Yeah, she
down
has
the middle
white
of her hair.
streaks in her hair like that.
Yeah, and that's some kind of disease, but I don't remember
know.
what it's called.
Now,
I did
she had
see a
that
meme,
streak
though,
because of
one
to
time
remind her or whatever that she was in the Iraq War, but
Oh, it was.
Oh, I thought it was some
No,
kind
I
of
didn't think
disease.
so.
I
That's
thought I
what-
saw
yeah,
that
I
somewhere.
didn't-
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So anyway, there was a meme I saw. You know that where it's like that SNL skit, that guy shoots the other guy and says, "Why would so and so do this?" It was a dog. A dog shoots Kristi Noem and says, "Why would Iran do this?" It was a dog though shooting her. Right? I thought that was hilarious. I laughed for like 5
John
minutes
Bolton
straight.
went on Fox News, I think, recently, and like, oh, President Trump is a great idea. Invade Iran. We need to get rid of Iran, even though they hate each other. But he's still praising him. Like, yeah, keep doing that, Mr. President. It's like, come on.
By the way, I've seen some.
Yeah, right there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna.
By the way, I've seen some funny edit photos of Tulsi Gabbard now having the Bolton mustache.
Oh, okay. To his credit.
There's someone I saw looked like Hogan.
No,
I can't remember what politician it was now.
It's what I would call the wall.
But someone was like
Here we
acting
go.
like Hogan, and they dressed his politician up like Hogan.
I think I saw that.
Like he's
but
acting like Hulk
and
Hogan
I
or
didn't pay
something.
attention to that.
Shit, I forgot which one it was.
Overall, here the lesson is simple: do not be fooled by empty rhetoric. Trump's anti-war messaging is designed to win votes, not to guide policy. The real story is told by his actions, appointments, and his donors. Trump put on the anti-war costume because he correctly recognized that there's a large constituency in the electorate that is tired of perpetual war. The pro-Israel lobby has spent $230 million supporting Trump since 2020.
It's called AIPAC. You can say AIPAC.
Yeah, nobody, even the Libertarian Institute is kind of like the pro-Israel lobby. Like they don't want to say AIPAC because, or the ADL, the Anti-Defense League. But yeah,
because they're all bought off by AIPAC.
His cabinet,
that's why.
And his cabinet is stacked with figures who see Israeli interest in U.S. military intervention as inseparable, such as Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Again, when he appointed Marco Rubio, I knew, his rhetoric is bullshit. Because Marco Rubio is a war hawk and he loves Israel. So, and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, again, the former Fox News host that it's when you started pointing these people, I'm like, yeah, that's bullshit. His rhetoric was bullshit. In the end, I knew it was bullshit to begin with, but that was confirmation.
Yeah.
In the end, of Trump's Iran's policy is not an exception to his anti-war brand. It's the reality behind his illusion. His presidency has been a smokescreen for a pro-Zionist, hawkish agenda that has brought the United States and Middle East closer to war, not peace. The next time the politician promises to end endless wars, look past the slogans. Follow the money, examine who the leaders appoint, and judge them by what they do, not but by what they say.
And
That's
also, the other
100%
thing,
true.
if the candidate's running as a Democrat or a Republican, forget about it.
Yeah, that's
if
true.
he's running as an independent, then okay,
You might take it more seriously.
Yeah.
But I could have said it better myself. I mean, this is 100% true. I mean, follow the money. It's always follow the money, by the way. Examine who.
Yeah. Is that what Deep Throat said?
Yeah, follow the money. Because if you follow the money, then
it's all about the money.
Yep.
Make it rain.
Follow the money,
right?
Because if you follow the money, who's funding it, and usually it's Israel. Then they're not going to do anything. They're going to do the exact same thing that they always done. That's why foreign policy never changes, no matter who gets elected, Democrat, Republican, same foreign policy.
It's
why?
It's like that quote from Fallout: "War never changes."
Yep, because it doesn't, and so yeah. So we have a few minutes left, so I guess we can, discuss anything. Yeah, pretty much.
Shoot the shit.
Because I don't have any more stories to cover. So.
Well, do you want to bring up that Trump Superman?
I guess. I mean, we could. Oops. Hold on. I mean.
Oh my God! It's just like if the Biden administration was doing that, they would be all over them for that.
Of course.
Right. The MAGA would be all over and say, well, how dare he, do that? And now they're like coming all over. Oh, Trump. Oh, Daddy Trump. Go suck a dick, man.
But yeah, this is the meme.
That just makes me want to vomit.
The symbol of hope, truth, justice, the American way, Superman Trump. So again, here's the thing. Trump is one thing he's brilliant at is self-promotion and advertising. That's what he's done his entire life.
Look at me, guys. Look at me.
Yeah, he's brilliant at this stuff.
But the problem is, people believe this shit. They actually believe that Trump is Superman. When I see a laser come out of his ass, then maybe I'll start to believe
he's
something.
Brilliant at self-promotion and putting himself over, which is the same thing, basically.
And that's why he's in the WWE Hall of Fame. He can do promos.
But having the official White House account share it is strange to me. It's like, why don't you just share it on your own accounts? But having the White House do it, it's like, oh, okay. So this is like the official administration position. It seems like Trump is.
It's marketing, right? And it's self-promotion, but it's also, they're not even trying anymore. They're just gonna. They might as well have shown. Right. They might as well have just shown them sucking Donald Trump off. Sucking him off. Literally sucking his dick. That would have been a better picture than what you just saw.
Angel, show the replies from it.
I just hold on. I can show the replies. It's fine. I just pulled it down a little bit. So it's the dude sells everything, anything. Yeah, he sells watches. He sells Bibles. He's just
Trump steaks. Yeah.
I don't think Superman would cover.
Was it a Trump whiskey too? Did he?
I don't think. Yeah, he did at one point. I don't think Superman would cover for a child trafficking
ring. The best
ring.
one you should find if you scroll down.
Yeah, this is what I was looking at. I'm just like Superman. Superman doesn't.
But not that one. Keep scrolling down. You'll.
Oh God, this one. This one's hilarious. Look at this one.
Yeah, that one.
Ugh, that retard. Yeah. Yeah, so true. So
the
true.
Epstein files again.
But again, Trump has literally. This is again. I can't say this enough. This is why Trump is in the WWE Hall of Fame. He knows how to do
Snoop Dogg's in the Hall of Fame too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So is a bunch of other people.
Soon enough,
the Hall of Fame is a joke.
Soon enough, I forget his name right now, but who was the one that won the WCW title?
David Arquette.
David Arquette. Yeah, he'll be in the Hall of Fame
David Arquette.
Yeah.
I think he is.
No, not yet. He might be.
Oh, thank the gods they have morals.
I wanted to.
No, they don't.
I wanted to show this. this Wall Street Apes account. It's a right wing account. This woman who regularly spends $3,000 on a trip on EBT food stamps in the grocery store. She reveals she has 7 kids and she calls it her EBT Unlimited card because she gets so much money a month for having so many kids. That's not true. I know that's bullshit right there because the maximum
What the
the
hell is she
maximum
talking
kids
about?
you're allowed to have on your food stamp case is 3. No matter if you have 10 kids, you only can have 3 kids maximum. That's Misty.
I have 1 kid, and here's the kicker. Here's the funny part. I live in my father's house, so technically I have to add my father's income to my income, which is still shit.
And it's too much.
It's still like $14,000 a year,
Yeah.
and that's still too much. Even though I'm the head of my household, I provide for my son, not my dad, me. I still make too much money to get on food stamps, and I have a child. So go suck a dick. Stop with your bullshit because
Misty,
it's bullshit.
our friend.
Is she the new Octomom or what?
I don't know, but
well, and that's the crazy part. Like they think that this is a Fox News thing. Oh, they think that women just sit around on child support all day. Motherfuckers, my child support is less than it's less than $200 a week.
Wow.
Motherfuckers, my child support is less than $200 a week for one child. My ex makes $30 an hour.
That's around $800 a month.
He makes $30 an hour.
Tell us how you really feel, Steph.
I can't say enough about this because I am so sick of Fox News saying, well, bitches just be having kids and they're just living off their child support.
It's like the Ronald Reagan welfare queen thing. Again, or was that Clinton?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's Reagan.
Motherfucker, I work for a living. I'm a working single mother in the eyes of the government. I get less than $200 in child support. Now tell me again how I'm living off the fucking government tea with a child and living on child support. Here's the thing,
that poverty thing the government has not been updated in decades. So it's $16,000 a year or less to get on government programs. If you make $16,000 or more, then you're not eligible for anything. So that number has not been updated in decades. It should be updated because, they won't update it because that means more Americans will be eligible for government programs. And that's
I agree. Trump should sell toilet paper.
Max says he makes the most bullshit.
He's already full of shit.
So yeah, I mean. So anyways, Misty.
Yeah, I mean, there's no such thing. First of all, there's no such thing as $3,000. And they're with this big, beautiful bill, which I had to actually calculate because I only work right now because my boss won't give me any more hours. I only work 23 hours a week. 23 hours, guys. And I'm just barely making it.
That barely would be above 80 hours a month.
And I literally have neighbors who are on EBT. EBT. Snaps or
I call it
stamps.
food stamps.
And they literally are going to get fucked. Literally in this new big beautiful bill, we can talk about that. In this big beautiful bill, which is of no fucking beautiful whatsoever. It's literally shit. And it's literally, I calculated it.
Yeah.
Right. It's only a big handout to the corporations who take more welfare than this little whoever this person making up this bullshit story. That woman probably can afford that because she's probably a working mother and has 2 incomes. I'm a working mother and I have 1 income, motherfucker. And I can't afford that.
It's just like when Microsoft laid off all their employees because they want to impress the shareholders. And
it's
right. And here's the kicker. In that I actually calculated. I work 23 hours a week. Now, to get my medical assistance, I have to work at least 80 hours a month. So I just barely make it. But if I was not making that amount, they would take my fucking medical assistance away. What was I going to fucking do? I can't afford to send my son to the doctor. I can't afford, a dental bill that my son's going to the dentist on Monday. And he's on the spectrum. They have to knock him out to do fillings. He has cavities in his baby teeth, and they're gonna knock him out. Do you know how much?
That's more money. Yeah, they're gonna charge more. Than what they normally would.
So I just barely cleared that thing. So what I'm pissed off about is these motherfuckers. They want me to they want me to suffer while their fucking welfare queen called the rich, the ultra rich, and the corporations, they just sit there and go, oh, you bitches, you just sit on welfare and you just sit on your child support all day and you do fucking nothing. No, that's you, motherfucker. That's you, motherfucker. I deserve medical assistance because I can't afford to send my son to the doctor, you stupid motherfucker.
23 times 4 is 92, so you barely made it above that 80-hour limit. Yeah.
Just barely.
And
just
Misty,
barely.
a friend of the show, Misty, I would rather pay for this than for bombs to blow up kids in other countries, my taxes. Every time I'd pay to feed every single kid in this country before I would pay for a single drone or weapon shipment. Y'all mad at the wrong shit. 100%.
No. Misty cannot say that at all. That's she can't ever. No.
100%.
Yeah, because
I would rather
poor kids.
I would rather pay for pay for this than make sure everybody's fed than pay for bombs and drone strikes and weapons and stuff.
And make sure everyone has, proper health care and kids especially too. But look what they tried to do to our kids during COVID. They literally tried to, and I want to finish really quick what I was saying. My neighbor said that their EBT will be cut because they're cutting SNAPs, they're cutting medical assistance and Medicaid and Medicare. So that fucks my dad. My dad's on Medicare.
So technically, the work requirements start next year. It's not yet. So there's.
But if my boss would cut my hours to, let's say, to just under
you get cut.
a month,
you get cut off
I'm
next
fucked.
year. Yeah.
We're so fucked.
If I go on, if I lose my job somehow and go on unemployment, I'm fucked.
Either the administration claims either you could work or volunteer for 80 hours a week, a combination of the two. So they want you to volunteer.
I don't.
They want you to volunteer.
Go on Misty show and tell each other how much we're fucked.
Earl says I get EBT. It's about $100 a month. Some people are complaining about that and spending much on wine with their meal. Yep, they spend $100 on wine in their meal in restaurants, and they act like.
Yeah, those are called the ultra
and they act like
rich
they have
people
to
and
cut,
corporations.
like
yeah,
they have
can
to
go
cut
suck
our food stamps or whatever. I keep calling them food stamps. They're EBT technically. I'm showing my age.
It's food stamps.
I'm showing my age because I was talking this about with.
At least you guys can get food stamps. I can't even get it. I mean, you can get it, Earl. I can't, and I have a son.
That's amazing. I assumed you get something, but anyways, my mom.
No, because I make too much money because my dad is in the house. Even though I'm the head of the household for me and my son, they still would count my dad because he lives in the same house. So we make too much money. I can't get food stamps.
Is that correct, Steph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So New Jersey, to be fair, is more generous with their SNAP because we all get here like $375 a month. So we're there. Yeah.
I'm glad. You guys deserve it. Well, I mean, you deserve to have more money, but you know what I mean.
So
it offsets.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. It wasn't that. It was something else. But yeah, I mean, it's too much. I mean. They're putting in work requirements, but most people don't work 80 hours a month because their bosses and their companies cut their hours.
I'm just barely on that tip, Like I said, if my boss cuts my hours to, less than 80 a month, I'm fucked. Y'all, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make my son healthy or keep my son healthy. I can't even make myself healthy. I don't go to the doctors. I make sure my son goes to the doctors. Because, he's my son and I would sacrifice everything for him. But the fact that they want to fuck people like me who have kids and want to take good care of them and they have in this mindset, oh, well, she's living off the teat of the government. No, fucker. I work for a fucking living. I work hard for my shit. Go suck a dick.
Yeah, so.
Let it all out, stuff.
Yeah, just
I have to, man.
A couple more things here.
That's what I wanted to say about this big, beautiful bill. Can go suck a dick because it's literally just a big grab from the poor and middle. Oh, well, the poor to the rich.
So I just wanted to go over. This is another thing to get pissed off about. Wanted to go over this before we wrap up. I know we're running a little long, but I mean, we'll just one more thing and we're done.
Oh my God! It's after 9? Man,
yeah, it's 9:05. So, anyways.
Having fun with my friends, man.
This is from the Tennessee Holler. I mean, we're in Ontario, California, they were arresting someone illegal in a doctor's office or something. Trump's masked Gestapo invades, not a Gestapo, but okay, whatever, invades a surgical center to grab an innocent landscaper as medical staff tells him to leave their private facility. A lawless regime.
Yeah, so he's arresting legal immigrants, not illegal immigrants.
Hey, let go.
So the issue is these doctors are physically interfering, and we can argue it's a good thing, but at the same time it isn't. Is what I'm afraid of. The government will start charging him with obstruction, and that's a felony, especially in the federal system. Like,
Well,
I
kind of see where they're coming from, but
I said that I know what's going on with the immigrants
know.
suck, and you may want to fiscally intervene, but you really shouldn't. These feds can charge you with obstructing or the federal equivalent, which is a felony. Yeah, so that's what I'm worried about.
I'd like to say they don't care, but I mean, we got to do something. All of us, unless you are Native American, and I'm being dead fucking serious. I've had people look me straight in the eye and say, I'm not an immigrant, and they were whiter than I was. So literally everybody here, unless you are a Native American, true Native American, you are an immigrant.
Yeah, this is true here. Without a warrant, they can't legally arrest them on private property. Yeah, I don't know why I just didn't wait for him outside. I mean, this is illegal too. On top of that, what they did here, just breaking into a doctor's office to arrest him.
Why did it get?
They wanted to be cowboys, baby.
So allegedly, what's happening is the administration is deputizing random Americans to do this. So they're not really cops. They're like, that's why they're wearing masks and stuff. They're deputizing Americans to do this, and they don't know the law, so they start breaking into.
Did you guys see that video of that one UK police officer crying because someone punched her in the face because she was trying to arrest an illegal person, and they just punched her in the face?
I didn't see it, but here's the thing with UK cops: they're very weak. American cops are too strong, and and they'll beat the crap out of you.
Next time, don't fuck around.
But the UK police are historically weak. I mean, I'm surprised they carry guns. Honestly, I mean that's how weakened the police is in the UK. But in the US, they're too militaristic. Like
or
for
you could
example,
look at the bad cops in GTA 4, how they're so weak and they can't do shit.
Yeah, they so let's see. Yeah, so it looks like it's an African American cop because he looks black. So yeah, so I just wanted to mention this as well because
oh yeah, it is. The cop. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, the cop was an African American.
Well, the thing is, and someone brought this up in a meme real quick. Brought this up in a meme that well, I saw several memes. First one was Trump talking about immigrants, and then there was a picture of a Native American saying, okay, immigrants need to leave or they need to go back to their countries or whatever. And there was a Native American picture of a Native American saying, okay, when are you leaving, Trump?
Yeah.
So I agree with that part. Again, we're all immigrants unless you are Native American, by blood, or completely Native American. But the thing is, and I saw this also. Again, I saw that, not that one, but I saw the one, you fuck around and you find out. The whole thing with immigration is, and I agree with this meme, they're always like, they're so against immigrants working and taking our jobs, but they...
No, it's just Angel. I heard Angel talking over you for whatever reason. But Angel's screen froze for his.
Okay.
My screen froze. Well, we got to go anyway, so it doesn't matter. You can hear me. But yeah, go ahead, finish up.
All right. So anyway, to wrap up, the meme was basically, sorry, the fuck around and find out. But it was like, the immigrants, okay, so why doesn't anyone, they say, oh, immigrants are taking our jobs, blah, 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 blah. So why is no one arresting the people who hire the immigrants to get cheap labor? How comes no one's arresting the employers, just the immigrants, right? So no one asked that question. Oh, immigrants are taking our jobs. Why? Because the employers are getting away with all this so that they can pay cheaper labor to the immigrants. But no one's arresting the employers.
Yeah.
No one's arresting the people who are hiring all these immigrants that are taking our jobs, supposedly. It's just,
Yeah. So
I saw that too, and I couldn't help but like it because, again, we're getting back to the same course of action. None of these corporations are being held responsible for hiring
they're the
these
problem.
immigrants that are literally supposedly taking our jobs, right?
That's the
If that's the
corporations.
problem, then arrest the
Yeah.
employers. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna fix my screen because we got to go anyway. So you'll hear my voice, but I'm just gonna be stuck like that. I'm wrapping up anyways. Usually I would fix it, but we got to go anyways. So that's why you hear me, but I'm kind of looking out to the distance. I don't know what I'm
Sunday's
doing.
pro wrestling talk, right?
So yeah, we have to promote pro wrestling. We have to
Sunday,
do plugs. So,
Sunday,
yeah,
Sunday,
pro wrestling
Sunday.
talk will not be tomorrow because me and Witch will be watching Saturday night's main event. So at 8:00 Eastern, yeah, and discussing it back and forth. That's honestly that's
you said 7 Eastern, right?
Yeah, 7 on Sunday.
Yeah, so I'll be on at 8 Eastern.
Okay. So Saturday night's main event will be at 8. Honestly, when we talk back and forth, those are kind of my notes because that way I remember what happened if I forget stuff.
And next Sunday we're planning to do the baseball episode, right?
Yeah, I have to reach out to David and Sage. Hopefully she can come on.
Yeah, because Sunday I'm taking my son to the pool and I'm going to be exhausted on Sunday. But I will.
Sounds good. I have to reach out to them and see
and
whether they could do it.
We can finally do the next GTA 6 episode.
Yeah, we do have to get around. We have to get to that.
I finally saw the trailer.
Yeah, so those are all coming up. We'll be reviewing Saturday night's main event and discussing AEW All In because that's also on Saturday night. I'm not going to watch it, obviously. I'm not paying $50 for that shit, but...
Oh, God. I'll listen to Jim Cornette and
we'll
I'll give
discuss it. We'll mention it. And then we'll do clips in the second hour with Alex. And Angel in the afternoon will be on Fridays at 7, which you're not going to come on, which you said, because you have a wedding to attend. But
no, yeah. This coming Friday, I have a wedding to go to, so I will not be on, but I will be on Pro Wrestling Talk Saturday. Okay, I was going to ask you whether you could do Pro Wrestling Talk. All right, sounds good.
Maybe try to get Dave on for Friday, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Dave. I mean, we'll see whether I got to do it now because big
brother.
I'm sure he might be able to. I give him enough notice. So, so Angel in the afternoon will be Friday at 7. We'll be back next Saturday Pro Wrestling Talk. Let's see. See you on the flip side. The split side, exactly. I mean, yeah. Oh, by the way, at 10:30, INN is replaying yesterday's episode of American Tradition with Jesse Jett and Indy.
You still haven't uploaded the Wrestle Talk from last week. So
I'm gonna have to upload it. Yeah, I forget to do it. I'm gonna have to upload it probably either tonight.
Did you edit? Because my boo boo.
Uh-huh.
I accidentally said my son's name. Yeah, if you edit that out.
Okay,
please.
yeah, I'll look for it and clip it out. But
you're not a censor sound or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's something I look for it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that.
So
AI, I think you can do that with AI, right?
So those are the shameless plugs. So if everybody enjoyed this week's episode, Angel in the Afternoon, we kind of went off topic a lot, but that's the fun part of this show. We'll go off topic and do whatever we want, and I'm still stuck. But yeah, hope everybody has a great weekend. We'll see you Sunday for Wrestling Talk if you're gonna watch.
Sunday at
and